Inmates in 21 cities, in prisons, by the way, prison inmates are going to strike. And the reason why is modern slavery, according to them. So inmates in 21 prisons are fed up with the system, and they're going to bring it down from the inside. They're going to stop it, which I don't blame them at all. Jailbirds in at least 21 cities, according to the Big Apple, or including the Big Apple, will go on strike on Tuesday over prison conditions they're comparing to modern slavery. During the 19-day strike from August 21st to September 9th, inmates plan to refuse to work, organize sit-ins, and in some cases not eat, to draw attention to poor prison conditions and what they say is exploitative labor. Now, this is the thing: is when you start really looking into the concept of the private prison system, and the kickbacks that judges get, and how come as a first world nation we've got the largest amount of people jailed, I think, than anyone else. It really does beg the question: is how much of this is money that's just being funneled into the system to make sure that anyone who commits any kind of crime, nonviolent or first-time offense or whatever, gets maximum jail time, because private prisons get money from the government. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible system. So I'm completely actually on board with this strike, to be honest with you. I think that criminals, look, don't get me wrong, you do the crime and everything else, yeah, do the time. But I've seen enough shit about prisons in America to look at some of this and go, it does come across as a bit inhumane. Now, prisoners have outlined 10 national demands that include immediate improvements to conditions for all inmates who are forced to work while incarcerated to be paid the prevailing wage in their state. They're also asking that voting rights of ex-felons should be reinstated and an end to over-sentencing and parole denials of black and brown humans. Now, look, you can sit there and argue, the race angle here, but it's disproportionate that there were more black and brown people incarcerated than white people. So I can understand that. But again, if they've done the crime, if it's a violent crime, slow down. Okay. If it's like non-violent crime, white collar type shit, blue collar type shit, whatever, man, like first time offenses, shit like that. We need to definitely reform the system and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people thrown in jail for selling pot. And now, if you're selling crack cocaine to children out of a fucking park, yeah, no, I want your ass locked up, because that is just not good. But if you're slinging chronic to your homie down the street, man, who's of age to purchase alcohol in this great nation of ours, then I don't see that being a problem. I look at it mostly as just people, the government going like, free cap, open, entrepreneur, not in this country. Anyway, so the main leverage that an inmate has is their body. This coming from Amani Sawari, a spokesperson for the protest, saying here, if they choose not to go to work and they sit in the main area or the eating area, and all the prisoners choose to sit there and not go to the kitchen for lunchtime or dinner time, if they choose not to clean or do the yard work, this is the leverage that they have. Prisons cannot run without prisoners' work. Well, yeah, that's very true. Prisons in at least 17 states are expected to participate in the demonstration, spearheaded by Jailhouse Lawyers Speak, a network of jailed prisoners' rights advocates based out of Lee Correctional Institution in South Carolina, and supported by the prisoner-led trade group Incarcerated Workers Organizing Committee. The strike is timed to begin on the anniversary of killing of jailed African-American activist George Jackson at the hands of a guard in 1971 after he took hostages in a bid to escape San Quentin in California. And it will end on the 47th anniversary of the bloody uprising at Attica Correctional Facility in New York, which left over 40 people dead. And look, I don't want there to be violence in prisons. I don't want there to be violence anywhere. I understand these guys want to stand up and make a push for maybe better conditions. Now, it's not this, and there's going to be people that are going to be like, but Matt, no, but criminals should be thrown in a hole and forgotten. Well, the idea of a prison system is not just to jail away people that are deemed unfit for society. That's part of it, yes, but it's also meant to be the rehabilitation and reformation of these people, to teach them a skill, to allow them to get to be an active participating member of society after the fact. And that doesn't happen here. That's not happening in a lot of the cases. It's this revolving door, because when they get tossed in the clink, what do? They end up meeting other criminals that then they learn from them, and they go out into the world and they try other shit, because they're not being taught how to change and work towards being better, which is what I feel that they should do in these particular damn scenarios. But then again, that's just my thoughts on that.